Hey everybody, it is Quicken and welcome back to Tattoo Talk Tuesday. So, if it is your very first time here to the Quicken channel, Tattoo Talk Tuesday is our weekly interactive talk show where I take viewers submitted questions and try to lend my experience to you guys as a tattoo collector. What is a tattoo collector? You'll have to find out by subscribing to my channel. So today I am actually filming a tattoo concept video that I stole from our good friend Morgan Joyce. However, when I texted her and asked if I could do it, she said that it's pretty common on YouTube, so today I'm going to be doing a video called Tattoos I Didn't Get. Morgan's, I think, is like Tattoos I Almost Got or something like that. I will say the correct thing in my video title. But lucky for us, today I actually have one of my old diaries. I believe I started this diary in 2009, so there are some juicy tattoo ideas in here. This diary, you know, it has like my first vegan macaroni and cheese recipe with illustrations, all of the bus times from whatever year I was taking the bus that hard, a bio. It says, "Keep living the big dreams and I'll keep dreaming mine." What is that from? Oh geez. Rules of the Bus. It's a pretty good one. A poem on disappointment. You know, favorite bands of 2011. Crystal Castles, Dead Kennedys, Radiohead, Me Without You. The other page is ripped out. I guess I had feelings about that. Flaws in modification community classification. Honestly, before this girl had YouTube, she was yelling into a book. Don't even worry, because this page, tattoo ideas, is what I'm going to be sharing with you guys today. There are a couple ideas that are not in here that I came up with along the way and just also never got. So if they're not in here, after I'm done reading this diary, I will mention them as well. Juicy. Anyway, so tattoo ideas with a hymn symbol, an anchor, a swallow, a nautical star. I'm just like the things that are sketched here. So the first one is an umbrella blown out. So I wanted an umbrella tattoo, but you know when you're like having your umbrella and the wind blows it the other way? I used to think that was a really cool idea because I was like, you know, it's like you like went out and it was raining, but then like everything went wrong. I was definitely that chick, and I still am. So the next one says Milk and Honey, and that is a tattoo I have shared with you guys on this channel before. I really wanted a Milk and Honey tattoo because before the poetry book or whatever the fuck, Milk and Honey to me always represented prosperity. And when I made this journal, I was working at McDonald's, my car didn't work, my life sucked, and I just thought that like Milk and Honey would be like that symbol of prosperity. I actually ended up getting a beehive tattoo, which was around this time, so it's definitely directly related to this, except the beehive is a stick and poke. So the next thing says a bow and arrow, parentheses, bow and arrow / axe. I think just like a bow and arrow, probably Joanna Newsom inspired or like fairy tale inspired, or like an axe. I was definitely in this like fantastical world. I was not super heavily influenced by the internet in this time period, so I definitely reading a lot, and like I also used to like read lyrics as I was listening to music as just a way to absorb a lot more like context. So in this time, definitely thinking about like Me Without You lyrics or Joanna Newsom lyrics, probably, you know, reading Ethan Frome. So this says farm, parentheses, vegan theme. You know, your girl was sick with some veganism. I think I just wanted like farm animals, or maybe like a for real, like a whole farm, this like thing going on. I never got that tattoo. I think I may have already had this and wasn't ready to start this arm. And a tattoo concept like this obviously requires like a lot of space, like a full thigh, or like, you know, a back, a full calf. So I think at this time I just wasn't ready to dedicate that space yet. But here's a good one. Shark and ribbon tattoo. Oh my god, we love it. So I did end up getting that tattoo, and here it is. Can't really see his ribbons. Good for you, girl. So the next one says Burning Farm, the play on Burning Church, which is a pretty popular tattoo. I didn't get that. Venus statue, or Goddess Venus in a shell. I used to want that on my side, and I guess, you know, I got the shark finning tattoo on my side anyway, and that tattoo was obviously just like a play on beauty, and the Venus statue, I believe I'm thinking of the right thing. Who knows what she was thinking of. But back, you know, when I made this diary, I was definitely really heavy into body modification, and I really still want it to be perceived as beautiful. So I know I really, really wanted this tattoo to always have a symbol of beauty, just like flawless beauty on me. There was this tattoo artist at the time, he was big in LA, who was doing a lot of like these like Roman statues or like images on cathedrals and stuff. He was like really, really like hitting it hard, and whatever platform like I was following him on, this, I did not have an Instagram at this time. It had to have been either on Tumblr or a tattoo magazine. I used to think like, man, I'm really gonna save up and go to LA and get this tattoo. Obviously that never happened, but the other side of my ribs is wide open, and I still do think about this tattoo. You know, raise your hand in the comments if you've heard me mention it before. It was a tattoo I want, and one of the only black and gray tattoos I've really like sweated hard for. So, you know, that's in the diary, but it's something I really want. So this says Radiohead Bear. I've talked to you guys about that before, and I never got it. Like back during this time, there was an apprentice at the tattoo shop in our town who had reached out to me via MySpace to ask if I wanted any apprentice tattoos. And at the time, I'm really glad I believe I replied yes and then chickened out, and I'm kind of glad I did, because I don't know how big I would have got this thing, but I used to doodle it like on literally everything. So just now I feel like I don't want any popular imagery very visible on me. And that's something I shared in my like adult tattoos video. Like having a Playboy bunny tattoo is like very recognizable on my body, and I think I would have similar feelings about having the Radiohead bear. But if I had any freaking friends who liked Radiohead, I wouldn't be going to the concert all by myself, so who knows. So this says Apple. I've never gotten an apple tattoo. I have a lunchbox tattoo that has an apple on it, and I think when I got that I was like, oh cool. So this says a skull with a heart brain in parentheses. At the time, and it's definitely doodled somewhere, I believe my little college boyfriend drew that somewhere for me, where it was like a skull from the side and his head was cut off and there was just like a little anatomical heart coming out of the top. I thought that that was sick. I don't have it. I don't know where I'd get it. Maybe I could edit the skull tattoo I already have, but it was just an idea I never really ran with, but it was imagery I definitely surrounded myself with. A black rose, you know, classic. I didn't get that, but they're still sick. Ties and rails, so that is a Joanna Newsom reference. For a train track, you know, the rail spikes, I used to really want one of those. They're pretty common in tattooing, but I wanted to get it for Joanna Newsom because she has the song where she says ties and rails. That one's still on ice. Like, I can definitely see myself still getting it. Joanna bird tattoo. I don't think I have that. I don't really know what that means off the top of my head. A razor blade. And this is a, you know, when you do the strikes and it's like 4 strikes and then you cross the 5th one through. I don't know what that's called, but those are pretty sick. I don't have one of those, but those are definitely like really chill, like filler tattoos. Like, I have that space right there. It's not a lot of space, but I could definitely see like getting one of those. But I don't, like, I would feel really fake just having one of those tattoos. Like, I feel like I would have to get some strikes and then figure out what it's all about. Unless, like, you could use the symbolism to mean, like, winning or, like, striking out, something like that, which could be sad. I don't know. This is a life preserver. So life preserver, you know, it's a pretty cool tattoo. Definitely like hits that aquatic theme, but being like a sad bitch in all of this, I definitely wanted a lifeline, and that's why I wanted that tattoo. This is an image of a coffin that has 2 hearts on it, so maybe like buried with somebody that you love. It's kind of grim. This is a candle burning at both ends. So a candle burning at both ends is something that you'll find a lot in traditional tattooing and kind of like new school as well, like definitely like whipped all around wax. It's definitely the symbolism for like if you're burning a candle at both ends, I feel like you're cutting it really tight, or like you're burning a candle at both ends is to overwork or exhaust oneself by doing too many things, especially both late night and early in the morning. So I can see like my McDonald's ass being like, life is hard. And I'm not even kidding. I've never worked harder. This is if your heart was broken, you'd be dead. So we didn't get that one. And here is a locket. A locket with a key. So I did end up getting that, which is way cool. Okay. So that is the end of the tattoos in this little diary. Other than that, a tattoo I really wanted. I used to be really into typography, and I really wanted a tattoo of the alphabet, and I wanted it to start at the bottom of my leg and go up, and it would fill in any of the gaps from tattoos I already had, and it would go up pretty high. I swear I was this close to getting that tattoo. I really liked it. I used to practice typography every day. I had a speedball, like little notebook that I kept with me everywhere. Every morning I used to get up and practice my letters by hand. I did that every day, and I really wanted this typography tattoo so badly. And I don't know, I kind of just like talked myself out of it. Now I feel like a tattoo like that would take up a lot of space. And because I want tattoos, I want to get a lot of tattoos, that would be something, like I said, that would take up a ton of space, and it would be, I imagine it to be black. So maybe this would come off as like a very masculine tattoo, even though arguably the tattoos on my leg are pretty masculine. I did talk myself out of it. Another tattoo I really wanted, and I wanted this when I was younger, I was in high school, and I did wanted this too shall pass tattoo. I really wanted that quote. I like looked up the meaning and presented this whole thing to my mom, and I did want it on my wrist, and my mom was like, fuck no. And after that, I didn't pursue like getting it illegally, although I had the means to. And now I'm kind of glad, not because I have any feelings about like this too shall pass tattoos. Like, I think that it's a message that, like, if it was on my wrist and I could remind myself, I think that that would be fine. But I didn't pursue getting that tattoo afterwards. And when I got older, I did stray away from text tattoos. So we're just gonna scratch ourselves with a bell collar. So I did stray from getting text tattoos, so that is fine with me that I decided to not get that. And then finally, it was in here, and it was the tie on your finger. If you remember from 3 tattoos I was refused, this video like accidentally went viral. I don't know. I was going to get a tie on my finger, and instead of pursuing getting it from somebody else, I actually decided I didn't want it. Now I feel like the culture around finger tattoos has changed. You know, back when I wanted it, I was like, I'm modified to the nines, I have bright red hair, I have tattoos, like I want this tattoo. And then, you know, I was kind of transient in that point in my life. Like, I didn't have a steady job. You know, I had dropped out of college and then went back to college. So I was really unsure, and at the time really did like to have this life where I could be tattooed or hide it. And that's kind of the bubble I live in now. I will see Melina, who has finger tattoos, and I'll see her like washing clients or like styling hair, like putting an apron on somebody, and I'm always really drawn to her hands, and I think that it's really cool. So I don't, you know, there might be a day where I get finger tattoos, but after I was refused that tattoo, like, I don't know if I express it well enough in the video. I don't think so. The comments are pretty negative, but I did walk away from that tattoo. If she would have given it to me and I'd have it to this day, I don't think I would have a problem with it. My 6s and my Lawless tattoo held up pretty well. I don't know if it's just the skin on my fingers, but I don't think I would have a problem having a finger tattoo. I don't really wear rings, so I think that would be really fun, but I just never pursued it. So these were tattoos I wanted to get, didn't get. Who knows what we'll title this video. Thank you, Morgan, for the inspiration, and the other tattoo influencers on YouTube who have done this video as well. Give this video a thumbs up if you're here for Tattoo Talk Tuesday, if you are here for me. And definitely subscribe if you want to see videos like this in the future. I be posting. Check out the Tattoo Talk Tuesday playlist down below if you think you've missed an episode, and definitely ring the bell if you want to be on the notification squad. I know subscriptions and stuff on YouTube is a friggin' process, but if you want to be in the know and the first to know when videos come out, definitely check that out. If not, you can follow me on Twitter. I always mention when I'm posting as well. I love you guys. My Twitter's Quiet Cool Kid, my Instagram's Quiet Cool Kid, and my cat is named Ethan. Until next time, bye.